the Dallas Cowboys. They'll make you drink, okay? Calvin Watkins had a great story for the Dallas Morning News, and we're going to bring Scotty in momentarily. I know these – look, I know this topic sucks for a lot of people. You see this, and it's like, what is ESPN First Take? Are they producing your show? I wish they were. That means I'd be on First Take. That's not the case. I'm producing the show, okay? And Scotty is helping produce the show. And Calvin Watkins this morning really helped produce the show because as I scour publications and the interweb, the internet, I still wish, as a guy who hosts a daily show, I really what I need to do is just get the Dallas Morning News delivered. I hate not having real newspapers. I would love to have a real newspaper right here. Every time I go to print something off on the goddamn printer, there's not enough ink. Like, let me give you one piece of advice. Don't take shortcuts when you're buying a printer. I've done it like 100 times, and every time I'm like, God damn it, this thing's out of ink again? And I'm just talking the black and white ink, because even if I go to this print-friendly website where it tells me it's going to print just the bones of the article out, I'm still looking at, and I want to talk about Tom Brady and Sofia Vergara later on, I'm still looking at this giant Instagram pic of Sofia Vergara when I print the article from the New York Post. Not that that's a terrible thing to look at, but it used up all the ink in my printer. So back to the Dallas Morning News story this morning that we are reacting to. This is not this is fair for us to talk about this morning because we're reacting to what Calvin Watkins wrote about Dak Prescott going into his 10th season as the Cowboys starting quarterback. What will his legacy be? Training camp starts in 10 days. That's when rookies will arrive in Oxnard for the Dallas Cowboys. Unbelievable. I want to read you this quote that Dak said. And to me, it shows a little bit about some of the pressure that surrounds this position. And this was a bit of a word salad quote. It was in the article. And that's not on Calvin Watkins. It's on, it's actually a good quote, but I think it illustrates where Dak's head is at going into the season, all over the place. Here it is. Quote, "Be damned if it's for my personal legacy or it's for this team. Hold on. Okay, let me read it again. Be damned if it's for my personal legacy or if it's for this team. It's for my sanity overall. Yeah, the legacy will take care of itself. I just have to stay where my feet are." But basically, like, I appreciate it in one respect because he's saying if I don't win a title, I'm going to go crazy, right? Like I'll never be able to have scratched that itch. And I don't think he's going to win a title. It's been 29 years since the Cowboys have won a Super Bowl. I think you could probably roll the dice and say it's going to be 30. And if you take a look at where Dak Prescott were, if he retired today, and we're talking about legacy now, where does Dak Prescott rank among the best quarterbacks that haven't won a Super Bowl? Well, he doesn't, okay? The highest paid quarterback in the history of the sport, and I understand a lot of that is about where we are in the marketplace, but hey, those are stone cold numbers. He doesn't even rank in the top 10 statistically or, just if I were to give, a football coach an opportunity to talk about this, like a real coach that knew what was going on. I got a couple guys here. I can go through 10 right now. McNabb, Dan Fouts, Steve McNair, Warren Moon, Carson Palmer, Fran Tarkenton, Jim Kelly, Matt Ryan, Phillip Rivers, and of course, Dan Marino. And the active quarterbacks who haven't won a title. He's not as good. I'd put him at 5 on that list. Okay, you ready? Lamar Jackson, he's won 2 MVPs. Josh Allen, nobody in the first 7 seasons of pro football has thrown as many touchdowns in their first 7 seasons as Josh Allen has. Joe Burrow and Jared Goff. Like, and okay, I get it. You're like, wait a minute. That's a bridge too far with Jared Goff. Actually, it's not. He's played in a Super Bowl, and he played in a conference championship last year, and the dude might be playing for a Super Bowl this year. Scotty Swingler, I bring you in now, somebody who is real quick to jump on Dak Prescott.
A registered Dak Prescott hater.
I mean, you're not a hater.
I am a little bit. I'll own it. I have been for a long time.
Okay. Just last little stat on this, right? If you were to look at current NFL quarterbacks and the number of playoff wins they have on that list, I don't need to go through it. I can just tell you that Dak Prescott is 15th. That's current NFL starting quarterbacks and their playoff.
And consider how many of those starters have only entered the league in the last 2 to 3 years.
Yeah. So what, as far as you're concerned, because Calvin Watkins stirred up this topic this morning, right? And, Watkins, I think, comes down on the side of legacy is defined by Super Bowl wins.
Yep.
Okay. And I think we can all agree on that.
Yep.
Forget the ring chasing conversation with LeBron and whoever else. He hasn't won a Super Bowl and he hadn't come close. And here's my take on Dak. The moment he was no longer playing with house money, and it happens a lot.
Yeah.
The sphincter gets tight, dude. Really, it just changes the game. Out of the gate, Tony Romo is supposed to start. He gets hurt. Dak goes 13-3, right? You're just playing fast and loose, and you got a great team.
Great team is the key word there.
So, all right, Scotty, I know you, again, I'm interested to get your thoughts on this. As we are in July, and we're talking about Dak's legacy, I think that's okay as far as talk shows go.
Sure. And like you said, it's a Dallas Morning News article. We didn't come up with this from scratch.
Yeah.
Calvin Watkins did that.
Yeah.
What can I say, man, that I haven't said? Dak is perpetually disappointing. And the biggest difference for me, and again, it's a shtick, y'all. I'm going to keep doing it. This is how I feel. Tony Romo has a better fourth quarter comeback number than every quarterback you just named. Every single one of them. I looked it up for a long time this morning. Tony Romo was a guy. The argument is same number of playoff wins, also didn't win a Super Bowl. Bottom line, that's why Troy Aikman's an all-timer and Tony Romo's not. Is Troy Aikman won the Super Bowls, right? But Tony Romo is a guy that you knew, and the stats bear it out.
Yeah.
If the game's close in the fourth quarter, the Cowboys are going to win. And whether it's defense was bad or injuries caught up to Romo or whatever, there's all these reasons he never won the big one. Dak is the opposite. Dak, there have been many times when the team around Dak, I'm like, whoa, this roster. But if it's tight in the fourth quarter, I'm like,
you don't feel good about it. That's not the guy
Dak's
you want playing quarterback.
Game.
Yeah.
Dak's not going to win this game.
And how scary is that when he's the highest paid quarterback in the NFL?
It's horrible. I mean, and when we made that deal with him, I knew it was horrible, right?
Yeah.
So, I feel like I have to put all these qualifiers on it. Like I understand people love the guy, good locker room guy, good culture guy, good leader of men, like Walter Payton Man of the Year guy, like. Thank you, Dak Prescott. I don't have any ill will towards you as a human. But I'm over it at quarterback, man, and I have been for a couple years.
We got to ask Mosley, too. I'd like to ask somebody who was on the inside. As an athlete and as somebody who's watched sports forever, I know that leaders, unless they're like a decorated guy on the way out that's there just to stabilize the locker room, right? But if you're not like a winner, if you're the quarterback, your voice in the locker room isn't quite as strong and impactful. It's way easier for Des Bryant to roll his eyes at Dak Prescott this season. I truly believe that. As we continue to go on, it's like, dude, what have you done? I mean, like...
Well, gosh, dude, we could rewind 5 years. Dak Prescott's in the offseason for 5-6 seasons now. It spends the offseason saying... We got to win. We got to win. We got to get to the Super Bowl. Like, this is not a new message from Dak.
Yeah.
He's been saying this because it's true, and he knows it's true.
But I thought that quote was revealing because he literally was basically saying, like, I'm going to go crazy if we don't win a Super Bowl.
Well, and what you didn't mention that Calvin Watkins wrote out in clear terms, he will become, unless he gets injured, which, by the way, that's part of why paying him so much money is a bad idea. He is not guaranteed to stay healthy.
No.
But if he plays a full season or close to it, he will pass Tony Romo this season and become the all-time leading passer in franchise history. He will. He's like 3,000 yards away.
And there's like 9 records in the Cowboys record book that he's closing in on.
He will, if he stays healthy another season, he will have them. So that he is the definition of that does not define, especially when you're playing football in 2025. We know every quarterback can get out there and put up big yardage. Like that's not the question. The question is, can you win the big one? And I don't think he can.